I'm doing this face for a very special reason. Because Facebook always grabs a ridiculous pose of me, usually just bringing my finger back off of the live button, so that should do it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday from sunny Lincolnshire. Well, oh no, the sun's gone in. Literally that second. It's been sunny all morning. Yes, here I am. Good morning, Helen. How are you? I was just saying good morning from sunny Lincolnshire and I've got a cloud gone over me. That will teach me. Graham, hello. How are you? I hope you're feeling well. Lovely to see you on here this morning. I've just been saying, because I like to give a weather report, and it was lovely and sunny, but a cloud's gone over, but I think it's only for a moment. I hope so anyway. Please send my love to Barbara Graham, won't you? Anyway, so first of all, if you're watching, please say hi, because you know I appreciate you all very much, and I like to go back and say thank you. And also, very often my comments don't work, so that will let me know if my comments are going to work or not. And secondly, thank you so much to everybody that took the time out yesterday just to say, I hope you feel better. It was just a one-off. It wasn't anything drastic. Sometimes I just have that after taking my meds every week. And it's an injection that I take. So I thought, well, let's do something a little bit different today. I'm going to put on my mascara later. I've also been given a challenge to do something very, very different in a live, which I'm going to do this afternoon. I don't know what it's going to be yet, because it's something we've got to research. So that should be very, very interesting. I will really appreciate your support. I will give you a little bit of a half-hour warning or whatever. Hooray! The sun's out again. That's what we like to see. So I'm not going to start at the beginning of my sarcoidosis journey, because loads of you know that. I'm going to start from, I think, yes, when I was diagnosed as having sarcoidosis, and the consultant said to me, well, I'm afraid there's no cure and there's nothing I can do to help you. And that was basically, bye. And that was it. So off I toddled, and that was sort of around that time that Alan and I made the decision to move to Spain. I think, yeah, no, let's not go into that, because that can be another story, can't it? So we got to Spain, and I was still under the influence, should we call it, that I could never be made better and that nothing would help me. And that went on probably for a few years over in Spain. And I would have good days and bad days like I do have now. But being not on any medication at all, the bad days were worse. And anyway, how did it start that I went to the doctor? I know it was my eyes, that's it. We had some friends over, and we were sitting by the pool one day, and a friend of mine said, oh, wow, look at that bird up there. And I looked, and as I looked up, and I wasn't looking directly at the sun or anything like that, but as I did, I sort of saw a flash in my eye. And that was it. Didn't really think any more of it until later on in that evening. My eye really started to sort of hurt, you know. It was let's call it a ball ache, really, because that's what it was. It was a real ball ache in my eye. And I was aware for the next few days that I'd be sitting watching the television, covering that eye, because it just felt so painful. It was like having a toothache in my eye, and we all know how horrible toothache is, don't we? And then I was aware that when I was looking out of it, it was very blurry, and also straight lines were no longer straight. So if I was looking at, say, for example, this box here, it wasn't a straight line like that. It would either go out that way or that way. Yeah, see what I mean? And everything I looked at, like that, horizontal or vertical, it was all the same way. And I thought, there's something not right with my eye. So luckily, our closest Spanish friends were pharmacists and also an optician as well, which was brilliant. So I went one day and I just said, David, please, can you just check my eyes? And because I think there's something not quite right. So he sat me in the, optician chair, and he looked, and they're very, very, what do we call it? Excitable, OTT, Lorna, you have something wrong with your eyes. It's to do with your sarcoidosis. You must go to the hospital. You must go now, and you must run. Basically, that was what I was told. Well, I didn't go then, and I didn't run. But over the next couple of days, I had these sort of like fainting attacks. And that was, I was extremely anemic, I found out, because what happened was I fainted quite badly at one point, quite badly, I sort of like fainted, landed in a heap on the floor. Luckily, Alan had caught me first, because he'd come down to see if I was all right. And we've got these, tiles, of course, on the floor, stone walls. And I said to him, I'm in the bathroom, but you can come in. I'm a very, very private person. I think that's probably because I'm an only child. I said, I'm in the bathroom, but I'm all right. And I had a terrible nosebleed as well. And then I just remember sort of like bending over the bathroom and sort of the sink and splashing my face and saying, I feel so ill, I really do. And the next thing I remember, I was on the floor and Alan had caught me. Anyway, he basically, sort of like dragged me as well as he could to the car. We went to the car, saw the emergency doctor, and our friend David had said, I'll come with you, I'll meet you there. So anyway, he met us there, bless him, to make sure everything was okay. And we mentioned my eye at the same time. Hi, Antoinette, how are you? Good to see you on here. So he also mentioned my eye at the same time. Well, that was it, really. He wasn't that fussed about my fainting anymore. He was more concerned about my eye. That's it. She has to go to the hospital. She has to go now. She has to run. She can't collect £500 on the way round or whatever it was, So that was that. So I went to the hospital and, oh my word, they were incredible. I think over the course of 7 days, I went to the hospital 5 times, and I think 4 of those I saw the consultant. And she was a lovely lady. She really was very glam, spoke a little bit of English, started off by having like steroid drops, and then I'd have to go back. No, that didn't help. Then I had a course of 4 monthly injections that would go like under here. It was sort of in here. If you feel your eye there, you can like feel the bone, and it used to go just the other side of the bone. And everybody sort of like goes, oh my God, that was awful. Do you know, it really wasn't any more painful than having an injection in your arm or anywhere else, because it wasn't in my eyeball. That was always the major fear, that one day they were going to say, you're going to have an injection in your eyeball. And I was so scared of that. So anyway, after a course of those, it still wasn't working. So I should have said, they diagnosed I had something called uveitis, which is basically inflammation of the eyeball, which sarcoidosis is blood cells that go around and form granulomas, which then form inflammation on your organs. I've had it on my parotid glands. I've had it on the glands up here, shaky hands, that's another story. My glands up here. I've had it in my thyroid, my liver, my gallbladder, my lungs, of course, which is where it is most of the time, and then in my eye. I don't think I've missed it anywhere, on my skin. And so what had happened with the inflammation, it had caused also inflammation of the retina. So I had lots of tests done, sort of like, there's this horrible, horrible test where they check, I think it's for the retina, I can't remember, and they inject a dye into your hand, but it goes into your eye. And I remember, luckily I didn't read the, what do you call it? I can't think what you call it now. If you have a problem with medication, and it did say it can cause like vomiting and nausea and what have you. And I remember sort of like, I had to sort of sit, well, I don't know if I had to sit in this position, but I was sat in a position with the eye consultant putting the dye in there. I remember bending over like this and sort of like Alan holding me one way and this other doctor having to prise my eye open like that so they could see like what was going on in my eye. And I remember my mouth going, oh, I feel awful. And it was like I hadn't got any control of my mouth. It was a horrible feeling. But anyway, that was done, and it showed up that I had got inflammation of the retina. So I used to have to go back sort of like monthly for ages. But after the course of 4 months not having anything working with the injection, she said to me, okay, the next thing is we either have to inject into your eyeball or we will give you steroid tablets. That was it. Steroid tablets, please, as fast as I could get out, because I knew also, yes, I was being a big wuss, and I do know, of course, lots of people have to have that done, and they have it done regularly. But also at that time, my chest was really quite bad. And I thought if it can help that as well, that would be brilliant. So that was what we did. We started off on a course of 80 milligram of prednisone, steroid tablet. And, and I felt great. A lot of people don't. A lot of people really, really struggle with steroids. But for me, it gave me the energy that I hadn't had for years. But I ate everything I could see, apart from our pets. And of course I got the massive balloon face as well. Moon face rather, not balloon face, although a very similar thing, isn't it really? I did get the massive moon face. So over the course of a year, I gradually went down and I got down to 0. And oh my word, when I was on sort of probably 5 and under, I was so aching. I could hardly get out of the bed during the day. I really couldn't. It was awful. But I got down, I got off of them. 6 weeks later, I had to go back to see the ophthalmologist. She said, Lorna, it's come back again. So that was then the decision was made. I went back onto 40 milligram of steroids, which was so hard to do after I'd had such a battle to get off of them. Having said that, I felt so much better on them. It was a real, it was a win-lose situation. I know that's not the correct term, but it was a win-lose situation. But they also started me on these, which is the Metajet. They call it Metajet here? Yes. Oh yeah, Metajet is a Metajet pen. Methotrexate, basically, it's known as. Lots of people have it in tablet. I was so pleased that I was given it straight away as an injection because I'd heard horrible stories about the tablets making you feel ill and that sort of thing. So where I am at the moment is, and I thought I would show you my pills as they are now. Whoops, they roll across the table. It's not too bad. Unfortunately, I had to... there's a few more in there I hadn't got out. Unfortunately, I had to have a rise in all my pills. Be 3 months now. Because I was just feeling so bad. And I think the thing is, when you're on pills, well, for me anyway, I always want to be coming off of them again. I want to be thinking, okay, well, I feel all right. I could go down a little bit on that. Obviously, I wouldn't go down on anything that needed to be written off sort of like by the doctor. But I certainly did. So at the moment, this is my omeprazole. I may say them in the Spanish words, I don't know. So this basically is a stomach protector, which you have to take. Did you know that you don't have to do that to swallow your pills? And that was only something I found out a couple of months ago. I mean, let's think about it. If we have a drink or eat our dinner, we don't do that, do we? We just sit and swallow it, which is so weird. So I've now realised that I can do that. What else do I take? Just recently I've become, I have high cholesterol, so I have a statin. It was something I didn't want to do, but she said to me, it's going to be better for you in the long run. So I do. I have my statin. I'm also pre-diabetic, but I didn't want to go on those pills. I mean, part of me would, because apparently you poo out all your fat. Well, that's okay, but, it's not really good, is it? It makes your bowels a bit lazy and what have you. And then I have an antidepressant that had to be upped. I never ever had depression until it was one of my first signs of sarcoidosis, one of my first symptoms. I'd got right down to, what was I on? 10 milligram, maybe even less, I don't know. And then over the beginning of this year, I felt so rough and so low, I thought, sod it, I'm going to go back up. And the doctor's absolutely fine with it, so it's my antidepressant. I am a different person when I'm on these. Please, 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 if you suffer from depression, please go and see your doctor. I don't feel drugged up in any way, shape or form. It's to do with a chemical imbalance in the brain. This little beauty just triggers it. Well, not triggers it, sorts it out. And then I have a folic acid, which stops me from feeling sick. And then I have a 5 milligram of prednisone. And I was on 10 when they increased it. Now I'm down to 9. But only for one more week, then I've got to go down again. I can do these two at a time. And then I have 2 chewy calcium pills. And these are, like the stomach protector is to protect my stomach from all the pills I'm taking. And these are protect my bones because the prednisone makes your bones weaker. So that's the way it goes, isn't it? The folic acid is to help when I do the injection, because this is actually a chemo drug. This is so much better than the one I used to have in Spain. The one I had in Spain wasn't a pen. It was a real sort of like syringe. Although it was full, it was a real needle that you had to squeeze down. I used to feel sick just doing it. It's crazy. I did it for years, but I used to feel sick just doing it. But this is so much easier. You literally just pull that top off, press it into your skin, just press that button and count to 5, and it's all done. But it can leave me feeling a bit queasy after. It always used to be the day after. I would say over the past few weeks, it just sort of changes. Over the past few weeks, I would have maybe a morning or an hour or so that I'd have a little queasy moment. But yesterday, I think because I relaxed yesterday, what did I do in the morning? I can't remember. I did my live in the morning, and I felt absolutely fine. And then I potted about. I don't know what I did. I potted about for about half hour or so, and I thought, oh, I feel a bit hungry. I'm going to sit down and answer some comments and what have you that were on my page. And then I had a little bit of lunch, and then I slept, and I slept most of the afternoon. So I was a bit cross with myself, but oh no, I didn't. I did a load of stuff upstairs too as well before I had to sleep. So that was really good. So I was actually quite pleased. Oh, excuse me. Quite pleased with what I got done. But I did have quite good sleep in the afternoon as well. But today I feel so much better. Thank you so much, everybody, again. I haven't commented on everybody's posts yet, even from yesterday. So I've got to go back and do that. And as I said, I will be going live later with the challenge that I've been set. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will explain all. I will explain why I've been given that challenge to do. And it's very true. But let me just tell you something. Talking about this, so I've got this health problem, right? Loads of ladies my sort of age have got these health problems. And let me just say to you, you don't have to be stuck indoors. I nearly said feeling sorry for yourself. That's the last thing I want to say, because I would hate anybody to say that. So I'm going to rewind that immediately. All right, you don't have to be indoors fed up and thinking you've got nothing to do, nowhere to go. You can do what I do. You really can, because I do it from home. I do it sitting on the beach, like I did a little video the other day. And it's all just letting you get to know me, isn't it? No matter how you feel, somebody else is feeling the same, and maybe they could do with a little opportunity. And somebody out there might have health problems like me and think, do you know what? I wouldn't mind doing what she does, but I don't think I could do it. Let me tell you, you could. You really, really could. Just shoot me a message and we can chat. Anyway, on that note, I need to get some stuff done. I don't know whether or not to finish doing my spare room upstairs. It won't be finished at all. Doing a bit in the spare room upstairs, to get out in the garden. What else I've got to do? So much. So much. I've got a challenge. I've challenged myself to sell some mascaras today. So I might be getting in your inbox. Right, okay. On that note, I better go. I will catch up with you all later. So look out. All right. Catch up soon. Lots of love. Bye.